In this quick video, I want to demonstrate how to connect body parts together using needle felting and go over how to quickly and easily add some details like facial features. So first, I have already felted my body parts. I have a head, a body, I have 2 arms and 2 legs. And notice on my arms and legs, I kept one end loose. This will help me attach my body parts together. And when I needle felted my body and my head, I tried to felt them until they were firm enough that if I squished them, they would pop right back to the original shape. So they're not squishy enough to stay in a squished position, they pop right back. That's how I know that they are firmly felted enough. Okay, so first let's go over just a quick detail. If I want to add a fine detail like a mouth, what I'm going to do is take a little bit of my wool, and I'm going to move this aside here so you can see. I'm going to just pull off a small strand, and I'm going to take that strand and I'm going to twist it like this. Okay, so I'm twisting it. My fingers are moving in 2 different directions. Now I'm going to set that. This is going to be a mouth, let's say. I'm going to set this where I want to connect it to my face. So I'm going to set it right here. I'm going to hold it firmly. I'm going to connect this to the nose here in the center. So I'm just going to poke this in a couple times with my needle. Already it's stuck, okay? So I'm going to do that just a couple more times to be sure. Now I'm going to work one side at a time. So again, twist it so that the fibers stay together. And then if I want this to come out like this, like a little smile, I'm going to bring my needle down and pull my fiber in the direction I want it to be in and just poke it into place like that. Same thing on this side. Poke, poke, poke. And I can bring it up a bit to make it look more cheerful. And just poke that into place. Now, if I have too much, like if I have this area here, and if I don't want that, I can just take some scissors and snip right here, just cut that right off. I'm just gonna put a little bit more in right here, and then that's probably what I would end up doing, unless I wanna just backtrack a bit and thicken up this line, which is another option. If I wanna bring this area underneath and create a little mouth, I could do that too. So really you can kind of draw with your fibers, and wherever you place them and poke them, that is where that color is going to stay. Just be really careful that you don't poke your fingers as you do this. And you can always layer, like if I wanna, make sure I can see this bottom area more, I would just go over that again with a little bit more black. Okay, maybe I'd add even a color in there too, have a little tongue hanging out, that would be cute. Anyways, I wanna move on to showing how to put these body parts together now. So if I want the head and the body to connect right here, I could just hold it in place like this, okay? And just start poking. That alone's gonna work, okay? Like already, I just poked a couple times. Look, you can see it's starting to connect. If you feel like your pieces are very, very firmly felted, take a little bit of loose wool in the color of the area that you're working with. So, I could take a little bit of brown for this area back here, some of the core wool, the tan colored wool for the front area, and that would just help it felt together. I don't even think I need that though, so I'm gonna take it aside. So I'm holding this firmly in place, and my needle is going straight up and down. Okay, I'm gonna turn and just poke that same space a few times right in the neck area. Turn, repeat. Turn and repeat. So the needle, think of the needle as it's going into the head, and it's also going all the way into a little bit of the body. So where the needle is going, that is where the fibers are being tangled together. So make sure you do hit up all the space around, okay? All right, now I would continue to do this and make it, you know, even tighter. I might fill in a little space here too with some loose wool, but for now, you can see this is attached. It's just not as firmly attached as I will want it to be. But I wanna move on and just do a quick arm or leg here. So I have my loose pieces here. First, I'm gonna just place it where I want it to go. Okay, do I want the arms to come towards the front like this? Do I want the arms to come down? You would decide what you want to do. I'm gonna have this one come towards the front. So I'm gonna push all this extra wool. I can use this actually to help me in that joint where the head's meeting the body. Hold it in place and start poking. And it really is as simple as this. Connecting body parts together, I think, is one of the easier parts of needle felting. I think the hardest part is getting your individual body parts made. And if you're still struggling with that, remember that it's really helpful to practice creating basic forms first. Okay, as you can see now, I have just done a little bit more work on my creature here. And I just want to point out two more quick things that you might want to consider doing before your character is finished. One is trying to sculpt with your wool. So taking the pieces that you've already created and creating more different forms. So for example, here, I didn't add anything besides a little bit of pink, but by going over and poking more in areas that I want to get lower, I can create some more dimension in this face here. So I'm making the cheeks puff out right here by poking more along this space. And this is also bringing the mouth and the nose out more then too. Okay. So any space that you poke more, you're going to condense the wool more in those areas. So it's going to bring it down and make it lower. A final thing you might want to consider doing is taking some scissors and just cleaning up any of the loose fuzzy pieces. So look, I can take my scissors here and just carefully trim off some of the loose pieces of wool that are just hanging off there. Now, this is not going to be the solution if you haven't firmly felted your parts yet. You won't be able to just miraculously make it clean and condensed just by cutting, but you know, if you have just some stray edges, that will clean it up. Happy needle felting.